Hey guys, a couple months back I took a week off of work and I said that during that week I was going to clean off this table and fix it up. Well, of course that never happened until today. I just finally got it cleared off and now I'm going to tackle it. This is my kitchen dinette table. It's an antique table, I think from around 1910, 1920. I picked up at an antique shop in Chicago. And I really like it because it's small normally, but this can actually pull out to be 8 or more feet long. So much so that they actually have a fifth leg in the middle, and you can pull out these two sides and put in leaves. The only leaf I've got right now is pretty narrow, but I would never extend it that much anyways. I just think it's kind of a cool design feature. Anyways, so I don't know what kind of finish is on here, but it's not in the greatest condition. And I've already gone ahead and stripped off this side and found out there's some what appear to be old repairs in here. This might actually be plaster or some kind of wood filler that's a lot lighter. Well, I want to try sanding these down a bit aggressively and see if I can get them looking better. Looks like this side is made up. I thought it was all one piece, but what I can clearly see is a separate piece here. But it looks like this is, well, no, I guess this has a seam here too. Anyways, they're pretty wide boards, like this is all one piece. The other thing I want to do is, in addition to refinishing it, is it's got a bit of a wobble, and that's because underneath some of the boards are damaged. Got cracks in them where these legs attach. So we got 4 turned legs that go up, attach underneath. It'll be easier to see when I turn it over, but very wobbly. Luckily, when I went to my local home improvement center, modern oak boards that are almost identical, same width, same thickness. I just trim them off a little bit, and they should work out really well. So here's a little demonstration of how far this thing can pull apart. So you get somebody at each end, and you pull and pull and you pull and you pull and you pull, and it just keeps going and going and going. And that leg just stays in the middle for extra support. And if I ever got some boards, and you can see, so I got the one leaf now, but that's just kind of silly because it's only like 11 inches wide. But I could easily add 4 feet or more to the length of this table. Alright, so anyways, for now I'm just going to slide it back closed and flip it over and take a look underneath. Okay, so here is the table from the underside. So I put some newer screws in this and tightened things down a bit when I got it, but the real problem, the reason it's so loose, is that these boards are cracked, and this one's kind of got some dry rot going on the edge too. So you can see when I rock this leg, this board, it's got the split right here. So these legs, as near as I can tell, are attached. I guess I must have taken this apart sometime, but I just don't remember because it was years ago. They must be attached from the other side. I'm hoping just a screw or something I can take out. So if I take out these 2 screws and these 2 screws, this whole side will come off. Both legs and this cross support right here. And then do the same on this side. And these are the boards I want to replace with these. So, thickness, just fine. Width, just fine, which saves me a ton of work. All I gotta do is cut them down a little bit. But actually I could probably use the length as is, because it'll just fit inside the outer extent. But I got a cross-cut power saw, so I'll just rip it down a little bit. Take about that much off. But before I do that, I'm going to take both sides off and see what I've got to work with. The center one is pretty darn solid, so I'm not too worried about that. And something else I want to do is these rails are a bit stiff. Not that I slide the 2 sides apart too often, but I think it'd be nice if they slid better, so I'll rub some beeswax on that. Should help lubricate the wood surfaces. So that's all it is. It's just like I don't know what kind of joint it is. I think it's sort of like a dovetail kind of thing that slides on these pieces of wood. And I just wood against wood rubbing, and the wax will help lubricate that. I just took off one set of legs, and I'm not entirely sure how they're attached. It looks like there's a hole drilled through this support board, maybe 1 inch in diameter, and then there's probably a peg that was driven into the top of the leg, or maybe it's all one piece of wood, comes up through the hole, and then it appears that there are 2 nails, one on either side, so I'll have to dig out the nails and then hopefully pop this out, or I can just destroy this board. I can just split it with a chisel and get that extracted. But what it does mean is when I do the new boards, I'm going to have to drill a hole out of the center. And if it is the right diameter, I could be in luck, because I bought a 1 inch Forstner bit for my Philco 38.7 chairside project, which would work fine to bore out a hole suitable for this leg. Slowly making progress getting these old boards off. Turns out that, yeah, there's a hole drilled through this peg going down the leg, which actually seemed to be pretty loose. I don't even know if there's any glue around it, or if there was, it's dried up. And then 2 big ass nails, grippy type nails. They're not really ring nails, but they got these ticks in them down the side, like chisel marks, to grip the wood. So, you know, I had to chisel away the wood to get a grip on the nail, and then I finally got these 2 out. So this is actually loose now, but it won't come off because it's still attached at the other end, so I got to do a similar treatment down there, and I can get this board off, and then I can install the new ones, which I have just trimmed to fit. So once I get this board off, I'll carefully lay out these holes. I guess I'll do one first, and then get that on here, and then carefully mark the center for the other one and drill that out. And then I'll probably use screws to put this back together rather than nails. So if I ever need, or anyone else ever needs to get this apart again, they won't have to go to such lengths. Alright, 1 down, 1 to go. The pegs are still in pretty good shape. One is completely intact, the other one just has a slight chip out of it. So I'll definitely be able to reuse those. Just have to drill holes into the new oak boards. Now, as for the top, I'll start working on that too. What I'm hoping I can do, I'll let down these holes better. I think I see just a standard screw down in there. And what I'm hoping is that if I take those screws out, I can pop the tops off and start sanding those down and refinishing those while I continue to work on the legs. I sanded it down to a 320 grit, and I think it looks and feels a whole lot better now. A little bit of the filler left here and there. I'm hoping it'll take some stain and won't be so noticeable. Right now I'm cleaning it off with a microfiber cloth, and then I'm going to apply some stain. I've got some Minwax Golden Oak. We've got a little bit of a warm spell going on now, so I expect this will dry fairly quickly. Guess I'll let it sit overnight and then move on to sanding sealer. I finished sanding down this side of the top to 320 grit, and it's looking and feeling a whole lot better. A little bit of the filler left here and there. I'm hoping it'll take some stain and not be so noticeable. Right now I'm cleaning off all the remaining sawdust with a microfiber cloth, and then I'm going to apply some Minwax Golden Oak stain. We've got a bit of a warm spell going on now, so up in the attic it's probably about 80 degrees, so I'm hoping this will be dry in about 24 hours. And while I'm waiting for this, I will get to work on the other side of the top. Here it is about half an hour after staining. I like the color a lot. I think it looks really nice. Now, unfortunately, the filler did not pick up the stain color, but that's alright. I've got various touch-up kits. I can apply some tint to those lighter areas. And worst case scenario, I could dig this stuff out and apply a more color appropriate filler. But I think I can just dab a little touch-up oak colored product on that and it'll look fine. So now I just wait.